Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the third video lecture of grade 5 science. I am your science teacher from Honors Kindergarten and Secondary School. Students, today we are going to start our third video lecture in which the topics are digestion, living things and life cycles of animals. Our first topic is digestion. In this video lesson, students will be able to understand the process of digestion and how does the digestive system work. Students will also be able to understand the functions of digestive organs. Digestive system. Have you ever got of what happens to the food that we eat every day? The organ system that takes care of food that we eat is the digestive system. The digestive system consists of mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. Mouth. The process of digestion starts from mouth. In human beings, food is ingested through the mouth where the digestion of food begins. Now we study that what happens to the food in the mouth. First of all, we study the role of the teeth. The teeth cut the food into small pieces, chew and grind it. Salivary glands. The salivary glands in mouth secretes saliva, which contains an enzyme called salivary amylase. Tongue helps in mixing of food with saliva. Esophagus. Students, to go from one point to another, we need something that would connect it to, and a smooth transportation is assured by this tunnel. A similar scene is found in our body. Well, as I said, that digestion starts in our mouth. Food goes from the mouth to the stomach through esophagus. The other name of the esophagus is food pipe. A mouth is the place where food is chewed, and the next organ involved in the digestion is stomach. And both these important points are connected through tube-like structure called the esophagus. Students, this tube-like structure is called esophagus. Stomach. The muscles of esophagus squeeze and relax to push the food down into the stomach. The stomach stores the food and works like a mixer. It helps in both mechanical and chemical digestion. Internally, the stomach has numerous glands present in its walls which secrete a juice called the gastric juice. It mainly consists of three major components: an acid called hydrochloric acid, mucus, and an enzyme by the name pepsin. Hydrochloric acid takes care of two things. Firstly, it kills all the harmful bacteria and other microbes that have entered the system through food. Secondly, it makes sure that enzyme pepsin can work properly. Small intestine. Now students, question is this: does the process of digestion end in stomach? The answer is no. The process continues and partially digested food reaches the next part. This is called the small intestine. Is this part really small as its name? No, we should really not go by its name. That's because it's not really very small, rather, it's a very long coil tube. It is actually the longest section of our digestive system. Measurement about 22 feet or 7 meters. The complete structure is very long. It is divided into three distinct regions. The semi-digested food from stomach enters into the small intestine. It gets mixed with the two major secretions. These secretions come from liver and pancreas. Large intestine. The leftover part of the food then moves to another tube called the large intestine. Some of the things in our food cannot be digested, such as fiber. Such waste matter is flushed out of the body through the large intestine. Some other organs also work together with the digestive system, like kidneys, pancreas, and liver. The kidneys help to remove waste materials and excess water from the body. The pancreas is a large gland which produces digestive juices. The liver has many functions. It helps to clean the blood and store food energy. Let's have a quick review that what we have studied in this chapter. The process of digestion begins in the mouth before the food reaches the stomach. Here is the mouth, and the process of digestion begins in the mouth. The mouth has special glands that produce saliva, which softens and moistens food. The tongue pushes the food into the throat, from where it passes into a tube called the oesophagus. That is the tube through which food passes. It is then pushed into the stomach, which works like a mixer. The stomach releases hydrochloric acid, which kills harmful bacteria. The food now enters a long narrow tube called the small intestine. Students, here is the small intestine. Here more juices are added to the food by other organs like the liver, pancreas, and gallbladder. Now the food gets absorbed into the blood while the waste material is passed into the large intestine. Some of the things in your food cannot be digested, such as fiber. Such waste matter is flushed out of the body through the large intestine. Yes, students, here are questions from exercise on page number 26, and their answers are given in the summer vacation work. Students, bookwork on page number 25. First of all, you have to fill in the blanks. There are some words that are given in the box, and you have to put out these words in the correct blanks. Bookwork on page number 25. Students, you have to circle the correct answer. Their options are given, and you have to choose the correct answer. Both of these questions you will do yourself and tally your answers from the ones given here in this video. Students, our second topic is living things. In this video lesson, students will be able to define characteristics of living things, and they can also differentiate between living things and non-living things. There are some characteristics which make living things different from non-living things. These characteristics are: all living things need food, they can respire, excrete, all living things have sensitivity, they can move, they can grow, and they can reproduce. All living things need food. Living things need food in order to perform their life processes. Food gives them energy. Animals get this energy by eating different plants and other animals. Plants make their own food by a process called photosynthesis. Students, you're already familiar with the term photosynthesis. All living things respire. Both animals and plants take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide when they respire. They use the oxygen to break down their food in order to obtain energy. Some animals, like humans, use their lungs to inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. Others breathe through their skin or with the help of gills. All living things excrete. All living things produce waste material. This waste material needs to be removed from the body. Removal of waste products from the body is called excretion. All living things have sensitivity. Living things respond or react to things which happen in their environment. When an animal realizes it is in danger, it runs for safety. You remove your hand quickly when you touch a very hot pot. The leaves of mimosa plant close when you touch them. You can see, students, the leaves of mimosa plant close when we touch them. All living things can move by themselves. Most animals move from place to place in search of food, water, shelter, and to avoid danger. This movement is called locomotion. Plants move in a different way. Since they prepare their own food, they need not go from place to place in search of food. But certain parts of plants show movement. For example, the sunflower moves in the direction of the sun. All living things grow and go through a life cycle. You were born as a baby, develop into a child, then a teenager, and will grow into an adult. All living things reproduce. Reproduction is the process by which living things make new life. Animals produce their young ones. Plants are pollinated and produce seeds, while bacteria divide to produce more bacteria. Summary. Students, let's have a quick review that what we have studied in this chapter. All living things have some common characteristics. They need food. They respire. Living things excrete. They also have sensitivity. They can move. Living things grow and they can reproduce. Students, here are questions from the exercise on page number 38. And their answers are given in the summer pack. Bookwork on page number 37 and 38. In part A, you have to match the column. Students, in column A, definitions are given and you have to match them with their terms in column B. Part B, fill in the blanks. And part C, circle the correct answer. After every statement, 3 options are given and you have to choose the right one. Students, part A, B and C you have to do yourself and then tally the answers. Our third topic is life cycles of animals. In this video lesson, students will be able to define life cycle. They can also understand the process of reproduction. Student can also define the process of reproduction by a single cell and reproduction by the joining of 2 cells. And they can also define the term metamorphosis. Reproduction. One of the most important characteristics of living things is reproduction. This is the process by which plants and animals, including humans, make copies of themselves. Life cycle. All living things come into this world, they grow, reproduce, and die. This whole process is known as a life cycle. There are 2 main ways in which living things can reproduce themselves. Number 1, reproduction by a Single cell. This need only single parent cell to reproduce a new organism. This method of reproduction occurs in lower animals, microorganisms, and plants. The new organism is an exact copy of its parent, as there is no joining of two different cells. Some very tiny invertebrates are made up of only a single cell. They are so small that they can only be seen under a microscope. They divide into two separate cells. The two cells divide into 4, then 8, and so on. Reproduction by the joining of two cells. This requires two types of cells. When these two cells join together, fertilization takes place and a new organism is formed. This new organism has two parents and has the characteristics of both of them. So it is not an exact copy of its parents. The life cycles of some vertebrates like birds, mammals, fish and reptiles is very simple. It consists of 3 stages: before birth, young and adult. You can see, students, here are only 3 stages. But some animals have a very complicated life cycle. They change their appearance along with the body structure when they pass through the different stages of their life cycle. The changes in the body structure from an egg to an adult is known as metamorphosis. Students, there are 2 types of metamorphosis: complete metamorphosis and incomplete metamorphosis. Complete metamorphosis, the animals undergo different stages in their life cycles. The butterfly passes through 4 stages in its life cycle: egg, larva, pupa, and then adult butterfly. It is called complete metamorphosis as it completes all 4 life stages. Bees, flies, fleas, ants are some examples of animals which pass through complete metamorphosis. Incomplete metamorphosis. Some animals undergo different stages in their life cycles. For example, the grasshopper passes through 3 stages instead of the usual 4: the egg, the nymph, and adult. This is called incomplete metamorphosis because it does not have the 4th life stage. Dragonflies, termites, maggots, cockroaches are some examples of animals which pass through incomplete metamorphosis. Let's have a quick review that what we have studied in this chapter. All living things go through a life cycle. One of the most important characteristics of living things is reproduction. Reproduction by a single cell needs only a single parent cell. This method of reproduction occurs in lower animals, microorganisms and plants. Reproduction by the joining of 2 cells requires 2 types of cells. Metamorphosis is of 2 types. Students, here are the questions on page number 44 and their answers are given in the summer pack. First of all, define the following terms: reproduction and metamorphosis. Question number 2, why is animal reproduction important? Question number 3, compare the following with examples of each type. 2 ways of reproduction in living things: complete and incomplete metamorphosis. Bookwork on page number 43. In part A, first of all, you have to fill in the blanks. Students, I hope your all concepts are clear and now you can fill these blanks very easily. In part B, after every statement, 3 options are given. You have to choose the right one. Thanks for watching.